this face.
You want us to do that to Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
The CIA is asking us to be a couple James Bonds.
You will shake Kim's hand with a fatal dose of poison. There's a 0% chance of this working.
Is it on my ass?
I sat on it.
The Interview, rated R.
Hello, I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Since pretty much its beginnings, Hollywood has been nothing if not controversial, especially with its major releases. Hardly a day goes by without some picture or other getting flack for its quote-unquote offensive material, a term which is unbelievably subjective. But even with all the controversy it generates, it's actually pretty rare for a Hollywood film to be pulled, in the United States anyway. Today's film, The Interview, is an exception to this, and I'll explain the controversy and my feelings about it later on, but first, my actual review. The Interview is a political comedy about talk show host David Skylark, played by James Franco, and his producer Aaron Rappaport, played by Seth Rogen. The two are extremely successful, managing to get many celebrities to spill their secrets on the air, which results in cameos that are far too hilarious for me to spoil here. Despite their success, however, the two begin to doubt their credibility as journalists. This all changes when North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, played by Randall Park, who is a huge fan of theirs, agrees to do an interview with Skylark in Pyongyang. When the CIA hears about this, they recruit Rappaport and Skylark to attempt to assassinate the supreme leader of the most dangerous and hostile country on the planet, with hilarious results. Rogen and Franco have fantastic chemistry together. Rogen is certainly enthusiastic about their character's fame, but is fairly down-to-earth and mature about handling it. Franco, by contrast, is completely consumed by his fame, and all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll that go with it. But by far the standout is Park as Kim Jong-un. He plays Kim as this hedonistic, insecure man-child who is desperate to prove that he's better than his father, and I'll explain precisely why that is so biting later on. There's also a solid supporting cast, with Lizzie Kaplan as CIA agent Lacey, who serves as the classic neurotic boss to our two bumbling leads. Diana Bang is also great as North Korean agent Suk-yin Park, the classic love interest on the other side who switches teams. Both these women managed to stand on equal footing with the male cast and are given just as much character and room for expression as well. Now for the controversy bits. It's no secret that the North Korean leadership took umbrage with this film, given just the premise alone. Kim Jong-un even called the film an act of war, and more importantly, a group of hackers that were eventually linked to the North Korean government threatened theaters showing the movie with violence. This led to the major theater chains canceling their showings, leading to Sony just putting the whole release on hold. Obviously, that decision has been reversed, and boy, am I glad that is the case. Believe it or not, I'm not the kind of person who believes that comedy, particularly social satire or parody, can never be considered offensive. I believe there's a right way to be offensive and a wrong way to be offensive. The wrong way is just to be as crass and insensitive as possible just to get cheap laughs. The right way is to use crass and insensitive humor to show the faults of the world around you, which this film understands perfectly. As I said earlier, Kim Jong-un is played in a very unflattering and embarrassing manner here, which is perfect for what this film is trying to accomplish. Taking down a dictator isn't as simple as just offing him. Any history book will tell you that usually doesn't turn out so well. People like Kim Jong-un rely just as much on sheer force of will and personality as they do military might. He is revered as a god by his people, and this movie is a scathing, if very crude, way of telling him that he is certainly not a god. In this movie, he is just a horny, juvenile hedonist who loves Katy Perry and has some serious daddy issues. That's how you have to truly depower a dictator, by stripping away not just his guns and bonds, but his precious image as well, and drag him down into the mud with the rest of us mere mortals below. As far as Kim Jong-un's reaction to this film, let me give you a little history lesson. In 1940, Charlie Chaplin released his comedy classic, The Great Dictator. The film was a fairly lighthearted but still rather scathing parody of Adolf Hitler. Apparently, the Fuhrer, who was an avid movie buff, personally ordered the film. Twice. So I guess in that sense, Kim Jong-un is worse than Hitler, because at least Adolf had a sense of humor about himself. Overall, I give The Interview, controversy and all, a high big screen rating. I would have enjoyed the film regardless of the flack it's gotten, but with these circumstances and as a firm believer in freedom of expression, it was almost my patriotic duty to see this film, and it should be yours too. And I'm not the only one, cause a guy in the theater I was in actually shouted out "Go America" as the credits started rolling, and he got a much-deserved round of applause, just like this movie. I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, and a happy, slightly belated holidays to you all.
America, fuck yeah!